A friend has asked me to make a garden bridge for her, a decorative garden bridge, because theirs that they've had there for 18 years is rotten now. And so I took that on as a nice challenge. I actually bought some new material. She had some material left over from a deck that she'd just done. And we'll go over the materials here. This is Eco Deck. And I believe it is reconstituted timber. It's timber and bamboo and HDPE, which is a plastic. It's 25 mil thick. It's got slots down the side. The slots use these materials to tie it down. Little clips. They go down into the slots, I believe, somehow. Have to figure that out yet. And something like that, I guess. For the uprights for the handrails, there's going to be 45 by 70, and the main structure of the bridge is going to be that 45 by 190, and it's all treated pine. What's not Eco Deck or plastic is going to be treated pine or galvanized. It's going to be around, probably 2 meters long, about 7 feet. So I've got to measure that, and then I'm going to make a nice arch for the top. And it holds the decking down. It also creates a gap between them because of how wide they are. They fit in these. There's some grooves here on the side. So what I have to do, I want this bridge to be roughly 2 meters long, but it won't be exact because I don't know what this is going to wind up to be and how many pieces there are. So let's measure these planks, or this decking. 88 millimeters, and the gap between them a little bit less than 6 millimeters, so I'll allow 6 altogether. And so that means I have to do some multiplication and find out how many planks, and then that'll tell me how many gaps. Alright, measured 1968. A bit of PVC tubing or conduit, and I'll use that to get my arch. So this is the starter piece. This goes on the outside. It'll be on the, since the decking is running this way, this will have to clip, screws onto that, and it goes into the slot that's in the decking here. And that means I'll have to cut this bit off to right there, 25 millimeter, my minimum. There you go. I've just marked it badly, so I'll remark it. Should be going to the top of this, not the bottom. Okay. See if I can do that correctly now without messing up and getting the wrong line. Crossways this way, and that means if I want to make a fairly wide bridge, well, I need to support at least every 400 millimeters apart, because these planks aren't strong enough to support 800 by themselves. They need something in the middle. So I've got this third piece. So all I'm going to do here is I have to do some fine tuning on the arch. I'll probably have to use a shave this down a bit because it's still kind of rough. But I'll get the rough cut now with the skill saw like I did the other one. And then I'll put them all together, hand planer, to plane them all smooth so that they're the same when I clamp them together. Just to make it a little prettier, I thought I'd make an arch on the bottom of this too. And being that this is 190, I'll make this about 150 or 6 inches. Probably have to cut this with a jigsaw, which I'm kind of worried about because my jigsaw isn't too good. Well, that was painfully slow, but finally worked. I actually broke 2 of these blades doing this, so the saw was just adequate, but it worked. I'm going to make these 900 long, about 3 feet. It's not square, so I'm going to square them up. Okay, here's something I just thought of. If I have 21 of these, 21 of these, that equals 1,848 millimeters. Well, there's going to be 20 gaps of 6 millimeters. That's another 120. The total distance is 1968. And that's what I've measured the length here overall. 1968. The trouble is, we're going over a crescent, over an arc here. So that is going to be a different measurement. And that puts us over 2005. So what I've got to do is chop these off a little bit so that the arch is 1968. Brilliant. I measured again, it's actually 2004 across that arch. 1968 is what I need to have, so I need to cut off 36 millimeters. And I need to divide that by half, 18 millimeters on each end, or else it doesn't work out right. The arch looks funny. Line it up with the end there. That's going into the slot. My measurements are good. Yeah, maybe I'll just use one for now, in case I have to reposition that one. Because I'm using 45 by 70 uprights for the handrails, this is going to be 45 here, this gap, and 45 here on this gap. Got to position this in the right place. Total outside dimension should be 810. That is 810. These here have to be still good, right on the edge. But as far as square and moving everything around, that's not so bad. Not going to be such a problem. Well, I'll cut all these to 900. Go from there. And it's actually 130 millimeters at the other end. So I'm going to put these spacers in here, or these hold down clamps, and see where we're actually going to wind up when the pieces are in place. And then I'll have to do a little bit more trimming to make sure it ends up right the way I want it to. that worked out okay. I just had to move these inboard, these clips, where they used to be, so these decking was level at the edge of this. I moved them in that far, which is about 6 mil on both sides, and that came out alright. These are going to be the posts that support the handrails. I wanted to use 4 because 3 looked funny, and 2 would just be a flat handrail across the top. So 4, even though those aren't the posts I'm going to use, it's just for mock-up. This will give me a nice curving appearance. The posts that make the handrail, I'm going to make 120 centimeters long, and that should give me about just over a 900 millimeter handrail height, which is about what you're supposed to have. I just cut off a little bit here, make it not splinter as much. If I were a proper builder, I'd have leveled up my sawhorses so that the bridge was level. But it isn't. It's off by probably, well, ½ an inch. And that's probably nothing you can see with your eye. But it's still better to make everything nice and level if you can. Anyway, I don't have that now. So all I'm going to do is I have this straight piece of metal, I have the straight piece of wood here. I'm just going to draw a line up right between the grooves that are cut into this decking. And that's about 70 millimeter. I know it is because I've compared it to the posts. And I'll make the posts then just slide them into the lines. There'll be some adjustment. If I need to adjust it later, if it's really off, looks bad to the eye, I can always change it later. There's one of the posts that's drilled, 22.5 degree angle here. I've drilled the top as well for the handrail. This will fit here. Now I need to drill all the holes in these. Made this template, and what that emulates is those holes there. So now all I have to do is put this in place. It'll be along the bottom on these outer two, and it'll be along the top here on the middle two. I think that's good. I've drilled all the holes. They're not quite lined up, but I can fix that when I put the handrail on. All I have to do now is disassemble it and give it some coats of paint. It's going to be outside. Sand off the rough edges beforehand, and then assembly. It's going to be a heavy bridge. I'll need help to put it in place. I like using these sponges because they get into the gaps really well. Here's where this roller really comes into its own. So fast. Paint with a roller like this is so much more economical in paint. You have to have a certain amount of surface area to make it work, but after you get over that threshold, it's just so fast. This has only been about 10 minutes total. I've got only 2 sides of the 4 sides coated with 1 coat, but it'll go a lot quicker than it does with a brush. Alright, 1 coat down. This is going to be really rough because the wood grain isn't soft anymore. So I'll sand this, give it 1 sanding, and that'll be good enough. Give it a 2nd coat. Time for assembly. Be worried about square too much because the bridge is going to be, I can shift it around a bit if I need to. These short planks are going to be where the posts go. These are really heavy. This last one's a bit tight, so I've got to kind of force them in there. Okay. I don't trust these plastic brackets to hold these decking in place on the ends. People, kids, children, they can be running down, and if they just hit, I think that over time the sun can, or something can, it'll crack and break off, and these planks are sliding out, people are going to get hurt. So what I intend to do is use these regular decking screws, still stainless steel. These have a fairly big head on them. They're not like the screws here that have really small head and I think might pull through. So these are a square drive. I'm going to put 2 of them. I'm a belt and suspenders kind of guy. Put 2 of them on this end plank and 2 of them on the other end onto every support here. That'll be good and secure then. I like this countersink because this spins. It lands, touches down onto the decking, and then it stops turning. You know it's the right depth and you stop drilling. It limits your depth as well. Perfect every time.